everyone, and welcome to another episode of TechnoBiz Business Talk. Today we are with Mr. Sakun from Joy Sport. We're going to hear more about their company and products. But before we start on that, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Yeah, okay. Sawadee-krap. My name is Sakun Khieowan. I'm CEO of Joy Sport. I'm also the founder of the company 25 years ago. I started from a micro startup, but now we have expanded into several countries, such as face production based in Thailand.
Right.
But we also, other than rotomold kayaks and water sport equipment and accessories, we also diversify into like a waterproof bags, some traveling gear, camping stock coolers, and also another part is more like a specialty project, such as wall ice cream cart or some solar pontoon.
Wow, that's very diverse. And I did mention, but welcome. I'm really glad to have you here, and it's going to be a very interesting conversation.
Honored to be here too. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. All right. Now that we heard a little bit about the company, let's focus more on the key products, because you did mention a variety of products. That's a lot, but what are the flagship products or services that you would like to highlight this year?
Yeah, in general, my motivation that drive me to start this company is actually with the kayak. It's basically more like a passion oriented.
Right.
I started with when I was like 30 with small dream. But I mean, for example, I got into kayaking by accident 25 years ago when I was visiting in New Zealand. And then a friend of mine just introduced me, hey, what do we do with this weekend? And then, I always play sport for entire life, but several things. Not that good, but still keep practicing on a regular basis.
Of course.
But anyway, we end up kayaking down the river in such a beautiful environment in New Zealand. Blue sky, cold, green water. And then all of a sudden it just hit me hard, and I just fell in love with it. And so I came back home, took maybe a year and a half, and then I feel like I got to do it. So I just quit the job and started this company.
Wow, and back then I think quitting a job to start something and following your passion, it's something that you don't really get to do back then. I think it takes a lot of courage and guts.
Probably craziness or some stupidity.
It sounds very brave. I feel like you need a lot of courage to be able to do that. How does it feel being able to turn your passion and dream into reality?
There's always the bump, along that startup process. But as long as you give it all in and more, if you not give up so quickly, you're gonna get there somehow. That's what I believe anyway.
That's such inspiring. That's very, very inspiring. And I think a lot of people now need to hear that. But okay, I'll circle back there. I really love the way we are going, because I think this is important in business and in every field. But let's circle back to the product and innovations. I think we covered that. Now, can we move on a little bit about to the market landscape and perhaps on the trends and industry shifts? Because they do come together. When the industry shifts, there are always new market and how the market is shaping. They are shaped.
Yep.
So, how would you describe the current market landscape in the industry? I think it's quite specific. With what you're providing.
It's kind of niche market in a way, but also broader in terms of cross-culture thing.
How so?
I mean, for example, like we also export a lot into many different countries in every continent. From like Greenland, Iceland down to New Zealand. So 7 continents we supply. But you can see a lot of some difference in terms of preference or the culture thing. For example, like in a tropical climate, of course, season change. It's very opposite to the northern hemisphere. But majority of the people down here would like to go as a group. Yeah, and it's more like an all year round kind of thing, and more into like a hospitality industry, like a tour operator, sightseeing, ecotourism, hotel resorts, and recently, the coming up interest is growing in the cafe. Yeah, because people cafe by the river, people want to take selfie.
Right.
That's another transition that you may that we notice anyway.
I would have noticed that, but
yeah.
nice to hear from you.
Yes, and but back to the core group of product when it comes down to the kayak. When I started years ago, based around tourism, sightseeing, recreational. Kayaking on those days was more like I'm talking about like a European culture, a bit more isolated, introvert, spend more precious time with the nature kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in the past 10 to 12 years, I would say the market have created the new segment, which is the fishing kayak. Fishing kayak. So basically, at that point, it's about the same time that I decided to establish Feel Free US, which is our US subsidiary company here in North Carolina. That's basically after the subprime, a few years after subprime. Yeah. So at that point, we have to decide, okay, what's gonna be our new vehicle to take us to the next chapter at that point in time. So we have to drop whatever we know in the past about how slim the kayak should be, how light, how sleeky, because that's how we always aiming for, like a high performance base. But now we talking about bigger, wider, much more stable, have the the up and down kind of chair, bigger chair for comfy, storage for carrying a cooler, because these guys want to go and spend some time on water, fishing, and have some drink. They carry with them. Yeah. So that will be one of the significant change of the entire industry, and it's keep moving from there as well. Instead of like a paddle. And then they shift into like a pedal, like a bicycle or the flip-flop thing, like a fins, and then now it's more like a motorized. Yeah. So along those transition periods, over and over, we always have to pin down and create some innovation, which we end up on like a worldwide patents, a few of them.
Wow, that's impressive. That is truly impressive. I'm really curious, what's the difference between fishing kayak and like other fishing boats? Like, is there any difference? Like, are people looking towards this more and more?
It's very close, but different. Yeah, because when you talk about boats, people talking about like outboard motor, and sometimes you have to deal with the license.
Oh, you don't need a license for a kayak?
You don't need a license for kayak. That's why it's more like easy to launch anywhere, easy to store, and also I have a lot of toys that you can DIY and do.
Of course.
And trust me, some of my customers put like a big screen of the fish finder, which is actually cost a lot more than the kayak itself.
Oh my!
It's more, and it's crazy.
It's crazy. I would not have imagined. But wow, this is truly eye-opening. I'm not into kayaking myself, but I've seen. I recently just went to Japan and like Kawaguchiko Lake, and then there are smaller lakes, and they really kind of like established that lake to be known for like.
We have some boats there too.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, probably maybe some of yours are there. So I can imagine it's truly peaceful, it's very calming.
Yep.
So I can see where you're coming from. That is really interesting. So is there any like more recent shifts towards like from then to now and from now to the future? Do you expect any shifts or foresee anything that you have to prepare for?
So we're already working on that, and like today at this event, I just do some speech introducing the new concept, which is another patent that we have. It's just like totally collapsible. It's a hybrid between SUP, like a stand-up paddleboard, and sit-down pedal kayak combined in one. But you can also also the physical combination between rigid plastic mold in two pieces, working together with a drop stitch high pressure pontoon. So you can take it down, put it into the wheelie bag. You don't need a roof rack, you don't need a garage. You can easily put into your apartment. So basically imagine like this is also cohesive with the mega trend where the younger generation, they can live in a beautiful water wheel residential in an apartment, but they can't afford like a garage or now with this new product concept they can afford to have, because you can pull into your apartment and store like an exercise machine.
Nice. I think that's a very smart idea, like a very innovative idea as well.
Thank you.
And yes, he is a speaker in one of our sessions. So that is pretty amazing. Alright, I think that's a very interesting take we are seeing so far, and especially towards a niche market. So thank you so much for sharing all this information and your passion with us. Before we wrap up, do you have a final message or invitation for our audience to engage with your company?
I'm not sure whether I'll be in that position to be able to leave any core message, but at least I can give some quote about what I believe. It's just like, if you want to pursue your dream, you just don't give up easily, and just dive into it, and at some point you're gonna get something out of it.
Of course. That's very inspiring. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to our audience. If you're watching until now, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And if you're interested in any more conversations like this, stay tuned to TechnoBiz Business Talk. That's it for now. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for having me.